Hello friends, we are learning today GDS, that's Amadeus, and its functionalities. Of course, this is the first chapter, and in the first chapter we are going to learn about the encoding and decoding of a city, airport, airlines, equipments of the aircraft types, and states of some countries, hotel companies, car companies, etc. And before going for the chapter, that's first chapter, let me give a small introduction about GDS. GDS means Global Distribution System. It's an extended version of the CRS or the Computer Reservation System. So before GDS came into picture, probably the software that used to be there in the market for streamlining the reservation procedure of the different suppliers, that was called a CRS or a Computer Reservation System. The computer reservation system was otherwise also called as central reservation system by some people. So CRS was basically for the purpose of streamlining the reservation process of a single supplier like one airline or one hotel company or one cruise company or one car company, etc. It was not adopted by so many different suppliers in the market. Only one supplier did have one CRS. Still some suppliers do have their own CRS. CRS is basically to streamline the reservation procedure, and in the beginning the CRS did not have so many different functionalities. It had got only a few functionalities like maintaining the customer data, like when they were making a reservation, a PNR, the customer data is required to be maintained there. Creating the travel and stay schedule. If it's a travel, then of course where to where and when the travel is supposed to be done, and when the passenger is going to stay in a particular hotel and what are the days and nights of stay. So that has to be created. That was the schedule preparation. And then the inventory management means how many seats are sold out, how many seats need to be sold, and what are the prices associated with different booking classes, etc. That's the inventory management. Of course, similar to the hotel, also similar in a hotel also they have the inventory management for their rooms, beds, and types of services, etc. That's the inventory management. Then the payment collection procedure, how the payment was received from the customer by the supplier or through the dedicated travel agencies or the general sales agents, whether that is through cash, that's through check payment, or that's through the debit or credit cards. That was the way of collection of the payment, and that was also maintained in the CRS. And creating the invoice, voucher, receipt, etc., that's a part of the CRS as well. When you are selling something, definitely a invoice is created and the voucher is given to the customer, like a ticket voucher for the airline tickets, and there may be a hotel voucher to go to the hotel and stay there. And accounting, maintenance, and reporting also was done by the CRS. So these are the some functionality of the CRS. The first CRS was created by Sabre in 1953, and it was done by IBM for American Airlines, and the system was Sabre. It was the first CRS. Later it was adopted by so many different suppliers, means so many different airlines, hotel companies, taxi companies, etc., and that became a global distribution system. The meaning of global means it was adopted by so many different players in the market. And GDS did have some enhanced functionalities, not only like a CRS. Probably it had got so many more functionalities, like it was giving the information about the travel, the destination, about the different parts of the world. So it was an ocean of information. As GDS does not host a certain number of travel service suppliers only, rather it integrates the CRS of many other suppliers and help them to sell through it. That means, let me give the example of Amadeus. Amadeus is hosting a few airlines on it, and those airlines have adopted Amadeus as their GDS or as a CRS. But Amadeus also sells all those airlines which are not hosted on Amadeus. That means the airlines which are not hosted on Amadeus, they have a different CRS. They are also integrated through some interface with Amadeus so that they can be sellable through Amadeus. And it helps combine services of different suppliers with interline service agreements with one-stop payment. Means many suppliers can come together and they can sell their services combinedly with one-stop payment. For example, Lufthansa, Air France, KLM, all these three airlines can be clubbed together on a single ticket, and with a single stop payment we can issue the ticket for all the three different airlines together in a single PNR. So GDS is not only confined to selling travel service, rather it helps selling the ancillary services like meals, in-flight entertainment, baggage, etc. It's an ocean of information for the travel industry. So it's not only for the purpose of making reservation, that also it teaches something, but also it teaches about the travel industry to the students, and it has got the authentic information about the places, about the procedure, etc. And it has got the PSS, means passenger service system, which is pretty much similar to a customer relationship management, where the customer data is maintained, all the conversations of a customer with the supplier or with the agency is maintained there. Then DCS means departure control system is also there for helping the departure and arrival formalities of the suppliers at an airport. So DCS is also a part of GDS now. So GDS is not pretty much limited like a CRS to maintain the customer reservation data, but it is also maintaining the customer relationship management tool, and also it is helping the departure control system at the airport. So okay, so these are the examples of some GDS and CRS in the market. Like Amadeus has the greatest market share, the largest market share, then Sabre, then Travelport. Travelport has got 3 different GDS like Galileo, Wolfspan, and Apollo, and so many different CRS. Those are pretty much prevalent in the market now. And Travel Sky is one of the GDS which is created by Air China, and that's becoming pretty popular in the Southeast Asian region nowadays. And while working in the cryptic mode of a CRS, the GDS, we put the cities, airport, airlines, hotel, car, countries, equipment, currencies, etc. In a coded format. What is actually cryptic entry and cryptic mode, and what is the graphical mode? Actually, every CRS or GDS has got 2 different types of modes of application. One is the graphical mode, which is pretty much similar to the web application of a shopping site, and the cryptic mode, which contains so many commands or the entries or the syntax. And those entries or the commands are created by the GDS for their operation, and through the cryptic mode probably the travel professionals can work in a lightning speed. So generally the cryptic mode is adopted by most of the travel professionals, and the cryptic mode has got syntax or the commands or the entries. In those entries, of course, we are using the codes of cities, airports, airlines, etc. And these codes of cities, airports, etc. are not created by the GDS, rather these are created by IATA. Please remember, the codes of airport, airlines, hotels, cars, countries, etc. are not created by the GDS people. It is created by IATA, and those codes are used by all the different GDS. Though the entries or the commands are different in different GDS, but the codes used for the countries, airlines, airports, hotels, cars, etc., they are the same. They are not going to be changed. So these codes are created by IATA, and those are used in the GDS entries by the GDS people. That's all about the introduction. Let us go straight away to the Amadeus application, and we are learning today how to encode and decode the airports, cities, airlines, aircrafts, cars, hotels, etc. Okay, the entry is DAN. DAN means it's coding the name of a city or an airport. Let me take the example DELHI, Delhi. So Delhi has got a city code. C means it's a city. C stands for a city, and DEL is the city code, and it has got only one airport. That's why the airport code and the city code remain the same, and it is in India. IN stands for India, DL stands for Delhi, and this particular airport, Indira Gandhi International Airport, is within the city. That's why it's showing that 0 kilometers. So along with the city, we have got the airport code, and sometimes we may find the bus stop code, city code, ground code, heliport code, official port code, even seaport codes, and railway station codes as well. Because sometimes some buses, some railways, trains, train tickets, I would say. Sometimes the cruise, those are also sold through the GDS. That's why the code of those places are also there. Let me go for encoding another city, DAN. Say it's Hong Kong. So I'm finding Hong Kong is a city, and it is in HK, means Hong Kong, and it has got one airport and so many heliports are there, and one heliport is there, one bus stop is there, and some seaports are also there. And you can find This is a city code is same as the airport code. But if I go to a multi-city airport like DAN London, you can find here London. There are two different Londons in the world. One London is a city, it's in Canada, Ontario. Canada is the country, Ontario is its state, and the city code is YXU, which is same as the international airport code, that is YXU. Because it has got only one airport, the city code is exactly same as the airport code, and it has got one railway station maybe associated with the airport, and that's also in Canada, Ontario. And another London which is pretty popular in the world, that is in Great Britain, GB, and this is also a city, and it has got so many airports like Biggin Hill, London City Airport, London Gatwick, London Heathrow, London Luton, Southend, and Stansted. All these airports are there. Some railway stations are also there. Sometimes you may find even bus stops. And another city we are finding here, LYX, that's also another London, maybe in Great Britain. So many Londons we are finding, and the major London, that is the most popular London, has got so many airports. Okay, let me go to another multi-airport city, MDAN, New York, and you can find New York has also got so many airports, some heliports, seaports, railway stations, etc. So these are the cities with multi-airport codes. Let me find the code of one airport like John F. Kennedy, JOHNFKENNEDY, and you can find here John F. Kennedy. It's not only one airport, John F. Kennedy. Two John F. Kennedy airports are there. Both are in USA. One is US New York State, another is US Wisconsin State. The first John F. Kennedy is most popular, that is JFK, and it's 20 kilometers away from the city. It is not within the city. Whereas the second airport, that is that's Ashland. The city is Ashland in the ASX, and it has got the airport John F. Kennedy also, and it's within the city in Wisconsin. So these are the different kind of the airports or the cities we can encode through this entry DAN. This DAN basically is the entry created by the GDS, but after that, whatever the codes you are finding, NYC or JFK, all these codes are created by IATA. Now let me go to decoding the city, DAC, then JFK. You can find when I'm decoding, it is decoding the city. And let me do DAC and say LON. It is decoding the city code. Sometimes it is decoding the airport code and also city code. DAC, say I'm finding LED. LED is a city code, that is St. Petersburg, and it has got couple of airports and some railway stations as well, some bus stations. No bus station, it's railway stations only. So DAC is to decode. DAC, let me say CCU. CCU is Kolkata in India, and you can find that's within the city, that's 0 kilometers away from India, and it's in West Bengal of India. So DAC is to decode. Now to encode or decode one airline is DNA. A at the end, it's for airline. So encoding and decoding both are done through this single entry DNA. Say I'm putting here Air India. So Air India has got two different chapters. One is Air India and another is Air India Charter Limited. DNA Indigo. Sorry. Okay, DNAINDIGO, Indigo, and you are finding here Indigo has got one alpha code, that is 6E, which is used along with the flights of Indigo, and 312, that is the starting number of the electronic tickets issued for Indigo. Of course, Indigo has not started issuing the 13-digit electronic tickets till now. Let me go for DNA. This is also to decode the airline code like LH. If I'm decoding LH, LH is Lufthansa, and it has got the numeric code 220. So all the Lufthansa flights should be associated with this alpha code LH, and all the tickets for Lufthansa that would be issued with the number 220. That would be the starting number of the Lufthansa airline tickets. So this is the way we can encode and decode. DNA UA, United Airlines, and you can find United Airline has got a code UA. So all the flights of United Airlines should be starting with this letter UA, and all the tickets of United Airlines should be starting with the number 016. Okay, then DNE. This is the entry to encode and decode the aircraft types or the equipments. Airbus. And you see here DNE Airbus. All the different types of Airbus flights are shown here. And then DNE. Suppose I'm saying 320. So 320 is a particular flight, and that's from Airbus, and it is a jet with 123 seater, maybe less than not less than 123 seats, not more than 180 seats, depending on the different classes of services. So DNE 320, it is showing the encoding, sorry, it is decoding that particular aircraft type or equipment type. E stands for equipment or aircraft. DNE77W is showing that 77W is a Boeing flight, and if we are saying DNEBOEING, it would be showing all the different types of Boeing flights here. Then let me go for the other entry like DNS DC is to encode and decode a country. DCINDIA. I can find India has got the code IN. It's also showing where is India located. It is in TC3 or Traffic Conference Area 3 of IATA, and it is coming with the within the South Asian subcontinent region. INR or Indian rupee is the currency of India, which is a local as well as international currency. So it has got only one currency for both of the transactions. IND is the citizenship code of Indian people. So IND is Indian citizen code. And if I know the code of India, suppose DCIN I'm putting, then also I will be getting the exact same information about the country India. DC, suppose I'm putting ZA, it is showing me that ZA is South Africa, and it has got ZAR, that's the currency, it's in Africa, in TC2, Traffic Conference Area number 2, and it the citizenship code is ZAF. I'm going for DC, say AU, STRALIA, and it's showing that DC Australia is showing AU is the country code, it is in TC3, and Australian dollar is the local and international currency. DCKENYA, I can find Kenya is in Africa, that's in TC2, and it has got two currencies. One is for the local transaction, KES or Kenyan shilling. US dollar is for the international transactions. KEN is the passenger citizenship code of the Kenyan people. Suppose I'm saying DCKE, you'll be getting the exact same information. If you know the code, you can find the details, and if you know the details, you also the complete name of that country, you can find the other details also through the entry DC and the country code. DNS, this is the entry for the decoding and coding of the states. DNS US, you can find all the states and union territories in USA. DNS IN, you can find all the states and union territories in India in an alphabetic order, and you can move down MD for other details. If everything is not displayed in a single screen, you can go to the next screen through this entry MD, and okay, MD, no more states are there. The last one is West Bengal. So in this way it is arranged in alphabetic order. So DNS, suppose I know the state code DNS WB, it would be showing me that no, DNS INWB, it would be showing me that India West Bengal is the state code WB. Okay, so DNS is basically to decode and encode the states of a particular country. And please remember, AR means Argentina, Brazil, BR, and then US, United States, Canada, that is CA, and then India, IN, and Australia, AU. These are the only 6 countries in the world for which the state codes are mapped in Amadeus. You cannot find the state code for any other country. Let us try DNS GB, Great Britain, it does not have any state code. DNS PK, Pakistan does not have any state code here in Amadeus. DNS AU, it has got the state codes. So this is the country where you can find the state codes. DNS CA, you can find Canada has got the state codes. Suppose I want to find Nova Scotia NS, DNS CA NS, and you can find Nova Scotia is in Canada. So suppose I'm saying DNS AL, Alaska, no, DNS US AK, Alaska, you can find here. So this is the way you can find the state codes DNSMH. Can I find here? No, DNSINMH, Maharashtra in India. So you're finding this is the way the state codes. And let me go for the last entries, the entries for the hotels. DNH is the basic entry to code and encode and decode a hotel. Say TAJ Taj, DNH Taj, DJ is the code, DNH Best Western. You can find BW is the code for Best Western. Suppose I know the code of one hotel DNH, then say IC. It's showing that IC is Intercontinental and the code is IC. Similarly, DNC is to decode and encode a car. So I'm saying say DNC AVIS. AVIS is ZI or ZI, that is the car company. The taxi company, the second largest taxi company in the world. If I say DNC, say ZE. So ZE is Hodge. So if you know the car company or taxi company code, you can get the complete name. If you know the name of the taxi company, you can find the code as well. So DNC. So with that, we came to the end of this particular chapter. And please try to answer all these questions given in the description box, and through that link you can answer the questions, and that's a kind of revision for your learning. Thank you.